Well, Nancy Pelosi said no to Donald Trump again today, and so tonight, a defeated president finds himself alone in a hell of his own creation, a government shutdown, which he thought was going to make him look strong, but makes him look weaker every day, with his polling numbers getting worse all the time, and with Republicans defecting from the Trump sinking ship every day, every time there's a vote. Nancy Pelosi beat Donald Trump once again today, and this time Nancy Pelosi beat Donald Trump in the United States Senate. The Senate took up a spending bill which Nancy Pelosi had passed through the House of Representatives, which would reopen the government for a few weeks, and it won a majority vote, including 6 Republican votes. Those were 6 Republican Senate votes for what Nancy Pelosi wants, and against 6 votes against what Donald Trump wants. Senators Mitt Romney, Lamar Alexander, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Johnny Isakson, Cory Gardner, all Republicans, all cast their votes in favor of their federal government worker constituents, the government workers in their states who are suffering, and they cast those votes against Donald Trump. The vote was 52 to 44. And when President Trump's bill came to a vote, it actually came to a vote first in the United States Senate today. All of those Republicans who voted for the Pelosi bill after the Trump bill, they voted for the Trump bill. But 2 Republicans voted against the Trump bill, and so the vote on the Trump bill was 50-47. Each bill needed 60 votes to pass. And now the Republican Senate leader and the Democratic leader, Chuck Schumer, are discussing what happens next. And no one knows what happens next, least of all President Trump. President Trump says he will support whatever Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell agree on. But Donald Trump said that the last time that Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell agreed on a spending bill, which they then passed through the United States Senate unanimously in December. And after they did that, and after Donald Trump promised that he was going to sign it, he changed his mind after they passed the bill. Donald Trump said he was now opposed to it. And so today, reporters pressed the president on exactly what he would be willing to accept.
We're going to reopen the temporary spending without money for the wall. Would you just to reopen the...
Well, I wouldn't be happy with it. I wouldn't be happy. But we have a lot of alternatives.
Wouldn't be happy with it? Wouldn't be happy with it? He didn't say he would veto it. That's what he's supposed to say if he's going to veto it. Well, the normal president wouldn't be happy with it means that he would sign it. But this is Donald Trump, and so no one has any idea what he means. Here is one of the alternatives for reopening the government, whatever that means, that the president suggested today and that no one understood.
One of the ideas suggested is they open it, they pay a sort of a prorated down payment for the wall.
Well, here's Nancy Pelosi's masterful response to whatever that was.
He's now saying he wants a large down payment for the wall. Is that an acceptable?
But that is not a reasonable agreement between the senators.
Do you know what he's talking about? What size down payment he's asking for?
I don't know if he knows what he's talking about.
What about a 3-week prorated payment?
I don't know what that means.
You cannot go wrong with the American public saying you do not know what Donald Trump means. No one does, most of the time. That Donald Trump has the worst cabinet in history and the worst White House staff in history is beyond dispute. The most incompetent staffs and cabinet in history. What is now sadly beyond dispute is that Donald Trump has the cruelest White House staff and the cruelest cabinet in history. And this is a truly vicious form of cruelty. It's the kind of cruelty that is so oblivious to the way real people live that there's no limit to how much harm they can do to those people because of that obliviousness. I have shown you on this program the president's top economic advisor saying on video that he believed the government shutdown was like giving federal workers vacations. He said that with a smile filled with the cruelty of the oblivious man. It was Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross's turn today. Wilbur Ross is a billionaire who is possibly the most corrupt and certainly the most incompetent Commerce Secretary in history. And he said he can't understand why government workers are going to homeless shelters to get food because they should just take care of themselves by getting loans. Wilbur Ross doesn't know that when you're not Wilbur Ross, you can't get bank loans instantly. He doesn't know what it is to be denied credit. And the credit union in his own department, the Commerce Department Credit Union, is charging 9% on personal loans if you can qualify for one. If anyone working in the Commerce Department or anywhere else in the federal government were to ask Wilbur Ross, how much of a loan should I get, for how long, he has no idea. Nancy Pelosi said this about Wilbur Ross's suggestion that 800,000 federal government workers should do what he's always been able to do when his businesses hit a bump in the cash flow, just pick up a phone and get a loan.
I don't know, is this the let them eat cake kind of attitude, or call your father for money, or this is character building for you? It's all going to end up very well, just as long as you don't get your paychecks.
Joining our discussion now, Jason Johnson, politics editor at TheRoot.com and an MSNBC contributor, and Adam Gentleson, the former deputy chief of staff to Senator Harry Reid. Adam, I wanted to begin with you with what you saw in the Senate today. We saw 6 Republicans cross over to the Democrats on a bill that did not include any funding for the wall. As this proceeds, that 6 could easily double, and then it could easily triple.
Yeah, this was an important vote because, you know, while the top line was that both bills failed, but beneath the surface there was some significant movement, and 6 Republicans defecting to the Democratic side. Obviously, it didn't get you to a point where the bill can pass, but that's the kind of movement that starts to trigger big momentum shifts among senators. And senators look at that vote and they see the Democratic side gaining momentum. So Chuck Schumer emerged much stronger from this vote today than he was before it, and McConnell's position has been significantly weakened. McConnell may want to be getting weaker because he may be wanting to show Trump that he can't hold the line much longer. But the bottom line was that today was a good vote for Democrats, and Chuck Schumer emerged from that vote much stronger than he was before he went into it.
Yeah, and Jason, that's one of those things that everyone working in the Senate knows, and I think a lot of the press knows, but people out there tend not to, that you can lose a vote in the Senate. Like Mitch McConnell, you can come up on the short end of a vote and be glad that you did, because you're actually trying to teach a lesson to the unreasonable people on your side, which in Mitch McConnell's case includes Donald Trump. And so what you didn't see today was anybody attacking those 6 Republican senators for going across the aisle. There's no indication that they're paying any price, even with Donald Trump.
Yeah, Lawrence, what we're getting to here is we're past the performance art part of these wall negotiations, and now we're going to get some actual work done. Nobody wants to be the 60th vote, but everybody's happy to be 57, 58, or 59th. And that's what we're about to head to. These first 6 senators, and you look at them. You've got, Susan Collins from Maine, who knows she's going to be challenged. Lisa Murkowski, who knows she might be challenged. You know, Isaacson from Georgia, where he's got the Super Bowl coming in a week, and he doesn't want that mess. He doesn't want a potential walkout at Atlanta, Hartsfield, Jackson. You have a lot of different senators, sometimes from red states, sometimes from blue states, who are saying, hey, look, we need to get this done. They're providing the cover. And really what I'm sure Mitch McConnell is explaining to the president right now is like, look, I can only hold this line but for so long. I can only put the Gandalf stand down and say, like, you shall not pass. At some point, I'm going to be overcome by these senators. If you don't want to get embarrassed, you're going to have to come up with some kind of deal that we can both work through. And I think that'll happen by this weekend, and I suspect probably by the first week of February, this might be over.
I want to read what Chuck Schumer's office issued tonight, Minority Leader's office issued this statement. This is about that weird prorated thing, or whatever that's supposed to mean, that the president said, just to lay down the markers on it. The statement is, Senator Schumer and Senate Democrats have made clear to Leader McConnell and Republicans that they will not support funding for the wall, prorated or otherwise. And so, Adam Gentleson, Chuck Schumer is echoing Nancy Pelosi's no. It is a unified no. It is a flawlessly repeated no on the wall. And there's nothing else they say about the wall. Donald Trump has been moving and changing what he's been saying about the wall every single day, both how much money he wants, or whether it is a wall, or how much wall there will be, how see-through the steel spikes will be, or whatever it is. But from Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, it's simply the word no.
That's right, and it's impossible to overstate how important it is that they've been able to maintain that unity, both within their own caucuses on each side of the Capitol and then together, and having them issue statements, basically echoing each other. It's just enormously important. And what they've done is they've sort of taken any sort of sense of, Dems in disarray that media love to focus on, any sort of drama on the Democratic side out of the picture. There just hasn't been any. There's nothing for the press to cover, which has allowed all the focus to be squarely on Trump, squarely on his changing position, his weak position, and that's been buttressed by polls showing that the public overwhelmingly blames Trump and supports the Democratic position. So that the unity has been enormously important, and huge credit goes to both Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer for being able to hold that line.